Negan just goes off and has this amazing monologue, and it was all going so well as long as he didn't push any boundaries.
Like Glenn was.
Oh, it's magic, you know. Never believe it's not so. It's magic, you know. Never believe it's not so.
In today's video, I'm reviewing and breaking down The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 1, Acheron Part 1. Of course, before we get into it, make sure you subscribe so that you are the first to see my videos. Also, I've literally just made a gaming channel. I've already dropped a couple of GTA videos and they're some of the funniest videos I've ever made. And those are just a couple of GTA ones. I've got Minecraft ones coming. And very soon I actually plan to live stream my first proper time playing DayZ. Now if you don't know what DayZ is, it's basically the most realistic zombie game out there right now. I was spawned in the middle of nowhere. I'll have to meet real people and talk to them. Find food, supplies, weapons, and survive. And I'm doing it all on live stream. So if you want to see that, just really quickly jump over to that channel and press subscribe on it so that you are ready. Let's get into it. So this episode starts with most of the main characters infiltrating this military base, but weirdly their walkers were sleeping, so when they're in this base they have to be quiet or they'll all wake up. They had created this pulley system where they can harness up the supplies and then after harness themselves up. What could possibly go wrong? Shit. You had to bleed. Big gun, yes. Fuck. They escape with as many supplies as they can, then we head back to Alexandria where we meet more of Maggie's people. It's like an Apex Legends squad. Contrary to what you might think my opinion of these quite useless and obviously introduced to die characters is, I actually really like them, and straight away the show makes sure that you do. With Elijah running to hug Agatha and Herschel jumping up onto Duncan's shoulders, it's clear they already know each other and there's such a strong bond and you start to like them too. And these new characters, part of Maggie's wardens at Meridian, are characters that Maggie thought were already dead, which means pretty soon they actually will be. This Agatha character straight away turns to her left to see Negan and says, "Is that him?" Because obviously for 6 years now Maggie's been spinning yarns about this character, this evil man, about all the horrible stuff he's done. And God, what a horrible way to see him. First impressions are important and he's got that awful beanie on. No wonder she just knew that that was the guy that has done bad stuff. He looks like he hurts pigeons. We then see the residents of Alexandria fighting over supplies and then it cuts to a meeting in the council room of them literally saying they only have 1 week with the supplies they've just gotten. You saw how many they had in that military base. This is Alexandria at its worst point. Then Maggie starts suggesting they actually go back to Meridian, which means they'd have to take the Reapers out first. She says there aren't that many of them.
So, you're leaving to fight ghosts. That's the plan?
Do you have a better one?
Yeah, you fuck off back to where you... The only thing to worry about in this meeting is that Rosita is worried. In this scene, it was Rosita that was doubting the whole plan. She doesn't want to take the Reapers on at all because the same thing that happened to Maggie's people, she thinks will happen to her.
Maggie, this sounds like a suicide mission.
Since when has Rosita been the character to be afraid of confrontation? Well, since she had Coco. It's her having Coco and protecting her that's changed her as a character. And as I've said, I do think this will lead to her getting Laurie's comic death. I'll link you to where I discussed that whole thing at the end of this one, but Rosita's doubt in this episode is what triggers that. Now, the funny thing about that is, it's not Rosita going out on this suicide mission with them, it's that she's not going. Let that sink in. It's Rosita that thinks this mission is too much. Rosita, Aaron, and Carol are the only characters in that room that did not go on this outing. Rosita and Aaron of course connect to Gabriel and his deteriorating mindset, so they're of course going to discuss Gabriel, and Carol doesn't go because, well, that's what she spent the past season trying not to do. What's he doing? Oh, yeah. So then it suddenly cuts to them out in the storm, and for a bit there was this awkward air about their scenes. But it was just this episode's pace, like 1 minute they're having a meeting, the next minute they're out in the storm, then they're in the subway, and I can't get over this hat that he was wearing, quite frankly. Now it's when they're in this storm and down into the subway where we started these little comments by Negan, and it's not really him trying to take the lead, but just trying to have a higher role in this. He doesn't want to be a background character, he wants to be up there with Daryl, suggesting things that they should do. And he starts to get a bit skeptical, and you can't really blame him.
You don't want to go in there?
Don't.
Don't give a shit.
For me, the thing that surrounded these scenes with this weird, awkward air was that it wasn't awkward. Their presence together wasn't some awkward thing where they don't talk. All of a sudden, they're so open with talking to him like that. You had Daryl even agree with him at the start, but all of a sudden, Negan can't talk with him.
He's right.
He said this weird comment.
We're buddies or something?
But that's weird, because you were buddies or something back in season 10. I appreciate the comment, because, I didn't really like all that. He was so quickly friendly with Negan. But that quick transition to acting like 10-year-olds was really quick and awkward. Like I give a shit. You do give a shit, you do. What do you mean you want to know to me? And then the words for anything.
Look, man, all I'm saying is...
Man, it ain't working.
Here it ain't working, trying to stop us from drowning. What the fuck? Apart from those first few lines in the subway, not that they were bad, the rest just felt like perfect dialogue. And so after that first part of the subway, it then transitions to the group being taken by the Commonwealth. So back to Eugene, Yumiko, Ezekiel and Princess being taken by the Commonwealth guards to the next checkpoint. And what I didn't expect is this part being my favourite part of the episode. I didn't even want to go back to the subway, I was just so euphoric over what I was seeing. I never want to see Eugene eat porridge again, please. Or whatever the fuck that was. Eugene goo. Eugene's always been good, but in this episode there wasn't a single time where he opened his mouth and I didn't laugh. He was so good. Ezekiel was really, really good. Yumiko was slightly more interesting. A bit cringy. But then there's Princess, who I actually like this episode too. It was since her episode where it was more based around her, where I started to like her, and in this episode, I did think she was really good. When she first joined the show, I felt like someone doing an impression of Harley Quinn doing an impression of Princess. But now, I think she really fits into it. Ezekiel meeting Officer Mercer, them talking, I was ecstatic. I didn't know I needed that, but I did. And I know I said Ezekiel would die, but I actually think he's One of the things that I really love about this scene is that Mercer slides the glass of water over to Ezekiel when he's coughing, because right now the group are really skeptical. They're thinking all these sinister things about them, but really they're not as bad as they think at all. Reprocessing, it all sounds so scary, but it's just asking them questions again later. Obviously some parts of the Commonwealth are corrupt, but what we will see is that a lot of it is good. And that's in a nutshell what the Commonwealth story arc is. I think chances are high that Ezekiel is treated for his illness by the Commonwealth. He's just coughed up blood in front of Officer Mercer and 2 auditors of the Commonwealth. Although they only let certain people in, we know they do help people. So I think it all comes down to Ezekiel's attitude, his actions. And of course, it's the first time we saw Mercer. I really like him, he's better than I could have expected. They chose the perfect actor for him. The group sees someone getting taken for reprocessing, so they decide that they do have to leave. But before we see that, we then cut back to the subway. They come across a ton of walkers that have been wrapped in plastic and have been killed so badly that their head is almost off. Maggie just suggests they put them all down and keep moving. But then the big show comes out, and of all characters to encounter it, it's gonna be Gage. It was quite disturbing just watching this big fucker grab him. Finally, Gage is doing something, yeah! And then your boy comes in to save him. I'm the one that likes kids. In all seriousness, it was just a really great scene, regardless of it being Gage. It was just good to see Negan do that, even if this did trigger his moment.
Pay attention so we don't miss any more.
Pay attention?
Oh fuck, here we go. This has got to be, for me, the best scene in the episode. Amazing to see, I loved it. But I can't really see why Negan would mention Glenn. Like I said, they're just all of a sudden so open with talking to each other like this. I know time has passed. We knew Negan wouldn't cower down, but I didn't see him shouting off like this about what he had done. Killing Glenn is the whole reason he's in this situation. Obviously Abraham too, but in regards to Maggie and Daryl, he's just pretty much bragged about Glenn's death, put down like a dog is what he said, to the two people most affected by it. Now, when he had his Here's Negan episode in episode 22 of season 10, he obviously had this big boost and a shift of perspective. And I knew he just wouldn't be taking shit anymore, but he's come back. And to say something like that when you've spent pretty much nearly 2 whole seasons trying to redeem yourself from what you did, to brag about it is really weird. And that's why I say, like, these interactions that he's had with Maggie are really odd. It's so on the nose, but I guess that's just what the writers want to do with it. Another small thing that happened in this episode that I appreciated almost too much was Alden saying literally anything to Negan. That's an ex-savior talking to Negan. We haven't even seen him talk when he was a savior. He's waited his whole life for this moment. He's rehearsed it in the mirror. You can see him work up to it. He's like, oh, I put a gun in your mouth. No, that's too much. I'll knock you out. No, that's too violent. That's too violent. I'm
Real close to shoving a gag in your mouth.
I love that he was ready for round 2. Like, whatever Negan was going to say, he was going to say something a million times worse, and everyone would be shocked at the filth that came out of his mouth. Look how good Maggie and her group look in this shot here. It's a shame they're going to die. After Negan's telling off, they walk further down the tunnel, and we fade back into the Commonwealth group. And there's quite a good scene with Princess where we see how good she is, and she's got this ADHD thing about her where she can pick up on which soldiers are which, and she knows their names, their secrets, who they are, what they do. And this essentially leads to them getting their outfits, so doing some Star Wars Stormtrooper stuff. You've got Eugene in one of the suits, and you've got Yumiko in one. They find the Wall of the Lost, and as we suspected, it was Yumiko. But what I love about it is she didn't just cliché-ly find her message on the wall. It was Princess. We actually saw how good Princess was at picking up small details, and she finds Yumiko's note. It's so much better than just Yumiko coming across it. A really great eccentric thing about her character. You've got to love that. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing when they found the Wall of the Lost. You've got Eugene in Commonwealth armor. I was just overjoyed because of it. Honestly, it was just so great. Of course, after Princess finds the note and tells Yumiko, it's you. Yumiko says, they've got to stay. She's got to find her sister. Now, ever since Michonne left and we already knew Yumiko was a lawyer, we've known it's really likely that she's going to be given the Michonne long-lost story arc. And so since then, I've known it's just going to render Magna completely useless. And she's already useless, unfortunately. So she's going to be doubly useless. And so Yumiko reuniting with her sister is going to help her with Magna's death. Oh, I wish you could have met Magna, but she was useless, so the Reapers got her. I'm almost 100% sure, and I'm serious when I say this, that the Reapers are going to kill Magna. The Commonwealth will save the group from the Reapers, but in that battle, that attack that happens, there will be big deaths, and I think Magna's one of them. That's still a big death. She's useless, but a big character. And yeah, it's just a shame. Like, I know I've said stuff about not liking Magna, but it's not really her herself I don't like. It's that she doesn't do anything. They haven't done anything with her. It's a shame. In the comics she did, but she didn't in the show. A cool character with so much potential, but she's not doing anything that the comics counterpart did, so it doesn't matter. She's just existed for Yumiko, and now Yumiko's got someone else to worry about. Kelly's got Connie to worry about. She's just so useless now, and it's sad. I wanted so much more, but maybe not. Made me cringe a lot. And that is the last bit of the Commonwealth we see in episode 1 of season 11. Really great. I loved every single second of it, and I'm just so happy to be overjoyed again at an episode of The Walking Dead. You didn't think I wasn't going to talk about it, did you? On the Wall of the Lost, you can see the word Heath written on it. Now, it was heavily implied by Angela Kang that he is at the CRM. She actually said the seeds have been planted for his return if the actor Corey Hawkins did want to come back. It would of course be in the Rick movies or World Beyond, or a place set at the CRM. Could this be a long lost relative, a friend of Heath at the Commonwealth, wants to find him? Bear in mind, each and every one of these notes and pictures were given by the people who work for The Walking Dead. It's no accident that the name of that character that had one of the most mysterious appearances before Rick on the show is on this board. So could it be one of his long lost relatives or a friend that wants to find him? Yeah, it could be. All it takes is the person that wrote that note to ask Eugene, have you seen a Heath? And Eugene will remember that years ago, he did know a Heath and he just disappeared. This is another CRM connection that could likely be made. Remember, I said that by the end of part 3 we're going to get them anyway. It's inevitable, the Rick movies are next. So regardless of what this note means, that's just going to start happening. So could Heath return? Could there be someone at the Commonwealth that wants Heath? Yeah, even if he never appears, even if this person never shows up, this could be someone trying to reach out to him. This person says that this Heath is 24 years old. Heath was in his early 20s. Says he's from Louisville. This could be someone looking out for Heath. Or it could just be someone called Heath, obviously. I mean, look at that picture behind him. Jesus, I don't remember Heath looking like that. It was like Shrek. So then we cut back to the final part of the episode, and we see the group have been stabbing plastic bags pretty much for about 30 minutes now. Gage has been missing for a while now, and so has Roy. If you know who Roy is, he's basically the guy with grey hair, who is Maggie's leader, but she doesn't listen to him. They're both missing, so you already know that guy is going to do some weird shite at one point. Gage is going to die in the tunnels, I'm almost certain of that. I am certain, actually. Little fucker's got no chance. A herd of walkers comes from the front and the back entrance of the tunnel that they're in, so they've got to move. They can't get the door of the carriage open, so Daryl starts shouting, climb up, all the way up, go. So they've got to climb onto the carriage. And everyone does it no problem, but Daryl has to get Dog on there, so he tries picking him up, but he legs it off and Daryl has to follow him, which is fair enough, I'd do the same. So now Daryl and Dog enter that hellish situation that we've heard happened in episode 2. So now Daryl and Dog have been split up from the main group, with just Maggie and Negan left to climb. Of course, this is where we'd see the scene of Maggie hanging on in the trailer. It's going to happen right now, and I was thinking the most predictable thing, I didn't even mention it in my videos because I thought it was obvious. Negan would last minute put his hand down as she falls. It's the cliche thing to happen in all the movies, all the TV shows, and all the games. But he just comes out of the darkness and stares at her, and I couldn't stop laughing. We see this completely different side of him. No one's looking at him apart from Maggie. And he changes. It's like when a cat is on a table and it looks down at something to knock off of it. He's looking. I think he saw the opportunity to just leave her. And he does. He looks over her like, I am the boss now, and I don't think he would have went out of his way to kill her, but he saw an opportunity, and I think he knows that if he was the one hanging off the train, Maggie wouldn't have done anything heroic either. So we see this weird, completely different side to Negan, this stone-cold look. He just goes off, leaving her to fall. She does fall, and it's quite disturbing. It does look like she gets killed there and then, and let's be real, she should have died. If it wasn't for already seeing scenes of her past episode 1 in the trailers and the sneak peeks, we would have just accepted that she had died. I would have accepted it because, look, any other character with even a bit less popularity would have just died there and then. So after that, the episode just ends, and straight after, we get a trailer for episode 2, where we see even more, like, yeah, Maggie got swarmed over. She's still alive, and we see that Maggie's people are pressing Negan on what happened, and you see Gabriel even say, let's just keep moving forward then. So Negan is lying about it. He's just not doing himself any favours at all, and like I've said so many times now, the fact he came back to Alexandria after being sent off, going to the different way to his comic counterpart did, he's just in so much trouble for Rick Grimes' comic death because everyone else can just start to love Negan. It's Maggie that's experienced his betrayal after already hating him. He's just begging for Rick's comic death. The only two characters that were even nearly worthy of getting Rick Grimes' comic death were Negan and Daryl. Daryl obviously has been confirmed to have his own spin-off with Carol. It could be a decoy, but probably not. So it's just Negan, and now he's doing this. He's not just come back and not just defending himself. He's going out of his way to seek opportunities to let Maggie go like that, and then he lies about it. When Maggie comes back, he's got to do even more now to redeem himself even further. And there's nothing stopping her now, even after they've made up, even after she's come back, they've spoke about it, because I'm sure the excuse that he's going to say is, you would have done the same thing. If I was hanging off that train car, you would have left me too. That's what he'll say. Even after that, even after he's passed the guns to her, they've made up, they've fought walkers together, she can still do it, just like Negan did to her. But what do you think? What do you think of this episode? Did you like it? What do you think is going to happen with Negan and Maggie next? What do you think is going to happen with the group at the Commonwealth? Who do you think is going to die next? Make sure you comment down below and let me know what you think. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you press the like button. It actually helps me out and it gets this video seen by more people. And of course, if you did enjoy, then make sure you check out my other videos. Check out this one, where I talk about the scary truth about the Reapers. Since the start of Season 10, Angela Kang has been adding this weird Greek mythological meaning to everything, with the first episode being called Acheron. It's all got some bigger, scary meaning, so make sure you go and check that out. And remember to go and check out my gaming channel. I've literally just made it, and I've already got 3 videos up there of GTA Online. Check out this video where a random player approaches me, and was too scared to fight me. It's one of my funniest videos I've ever made. Well, I was at beach to get my jet, lol, don't cry.
Bullshit.
And of course, make sure you subscribe so that you're the first to see my videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Yay, Daryl's back. That dog's bigger than me, fucking.